Hey, what's up, iCkEdMeL, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. Welcome. Today we're going to be watching the press conference here in about 10 minutes or so with regards to Michael Vaughan. And really kind of just curious to see what they have to say. I am going to have a guest today, too. I think she's going to come and listen with us during the press conference. And then after the press conference, we'll talk to her and get some of her insight. I've covered this story with Michael Vaughan on and off. I think maybe 6 times, at like 3 live streams, maybe, and maybe 3 dedicated videos, something like that. But every time I cover it, there's been such gaps in between, and we always have like this new audience, and it's like you have to kind of recap it. And I almost forget all the intricate details, so I think it'll be nice to have a guest on to talk about it. I guess after the presser. And let me let me start with this real quick. I lost the website. Let me share the screen here. Yeah, and I hope you guys are doing well. And by the way, with all the stuff that happened yesterday, as far as the trial stuff, I mean, I don't know, hopefully people can learn from that. And not do it again. The most egregious thing, like I said, was actually streaming. The people that were streaming, there were people that had accidents with hot mic issues, and even that, what I would say is double mute. Because when I went into the app yesterday, the WebEx app, and I was listening, like the first thing before you even get inside, there's like a prompt, and it asks you if you want to like turn on your camera, turn it off, mute your microphone. And so I would say mute that through the software. So if your mic does unmute, you'll be at least safe through there, if possible. And I was upset. Yesterday. Really unfortunate for, the victim. And I mean, I've seen some comments on some videos too, people talking about that, like, the anxiety, people talking about going to trial and waiting for the day, and then having that day pushed back again. It's just like reliving all this crap again. Just the anxiety I could imagine to wait for that. And yeah. So okay, so Michael Vaughan, this is the website here. Okay. And I put it in the description. If mods have the link, if they can drop it whenever. You can do it after the stream or whenever, but there's a link. You can go if you want to help the family out. I sent the Venmo, I think like 2 weeks ago or something. They also have, I thought they had like a, oh, here it is. They have like a wish list, which I think is an Amazon wish list. Most of the stuff has been bought out already. I think that's why there's not much on there right now. So you can either do Venmo, and it's just to help the family out. Michael Vaughan, okay, I guess he would be 6 now, but at the time when he went missing, he was 5, and he disappeared on July 27, 2021 from his home. And Brandy Neal is his mother. She's been like the face of the story, speaking up for her son and doing multiple press conferences, and I think even talking to YouTubers, and she's made several public appeals for help and information regarding the disappearance of her son. The other thing, which I kind of, where's the article for that? Oh, this is over here. Oh, this is what it's right here in front of me. Okay. This is what I thought was pretty cool, at least, or something to come out of it. It says on Wednesday, April 27, 2022, Governor Brad Little signed a law that creates a new missing person alert statewide. It's known as Monkey's Law, the nickname Michael Vaughan. The law establishes an emergency alert system that is parallel to the Amber Alert system. So when the guest comes on, I'm going to ask her about that too, because they never issued an Amber Alert. And then this whole other thing too, which I'm going to ask the guest about, is the Sarah Wondra person that has been arrested. And so On Saturday, more recently, Saturday, November 12th, 2022, Fruitland police began searching the backyard of a residence near Michael's home. Chief J.D. Huff told CBS there was a high probability of remains on the property. And the thing is, did they find remains or not? I think they stopped. I think they completed everything at the house, I believe. We're going to watch a little video clip. Oh, we only have 5 minutes left. On November 14th, 2022, police arrested Sarah Wondra. Wondra lives at the home police have been searching. She is accused of failure to report a death to the coroner. On November 21st, a judge determined she is mentally unfit. This is one of the more later things, which the video clip I wanted to show you talks about that. A judge determined her mentally unfit to proceed and postpone her court dates. Her status conference is now scheduled for December 23rd, which makes me like wonder, did she just make this shit up, or does she know something? Or like, I mean, I'm sure they had to have more than just what this woman was saying. And I believe, I don't remember correctly, I thought she accused her husband that's currently locked up on unrelated charges. I thought she said like he killed her or something like that. Sorry, killed Michael or something. So I don't know what's what. And the crazy thing too is that this woman lived, maybe the people in the chat know, really close to Michael. I thought it was like 2 miles away, or I forgot how many miles away. But I mean, I don't know, if this woman made shit up, that would be a damn shame to like do that to families and stuff, and to the mother. And if I have time, let me see if I can play a small little clip. 4 minutes long. Okay, we got time for this.
I want to bring in attorney Rachel Fizet. Good to see you as always. This is a really sad case because the family has already been told.
She said that, Katrina says she said he killed him. Yeah. I mean, this has been a long time coming. I'll talk more. We'll talk more after the presser.
That they are looking for remains. So police seem to have been led down the path that this little boy is not alive, which is horribly, horribly tragic. So legally speaking, I'm wondering about Sarah Wondra. She's been charged with not reporting a death without a body, without remains. What more do you read into that charge and what it means?
I think the police have very credible information that the little boy has died. And I think that they probably have physical evidence as to his death and perhaps witnesses or something else that have given them probable cause to charge Ms. Wondra with not reporting the death. So she knows what happened to Michael and she did not report it in time. She basically covered it up. And that's what this charge looks like.
Well, and Rachel, just to share with people at home a little bit of what was in court documents, and it's pretty chilling. Sarah was declared unfit to stand trial, as I mentioned. A local newspaper reporting that she told police she did not kill Michael Vaughan, but that God told her that her husband did kill him and then buried him in their yard. So mental health, mental illness will clearly be a part of that, whether that's a defense at this point ahead of possible charges. We don't
The mental health, mental illness.
know. But how does that type of thing play out in this early part of a case, potentially?
Misty says she lived on the corner of the same block. That's crazy, man. That's why, that whole saying, it still applies, but like that whole saying, it takes a village, I've always been like, ugh, because I don't know, it's that same village, but in the same token, you could say, maybe somebody in that village could have helped or stopped or intervened or reported something earlier. I don't know.
One has to be declared competent to stand trial, which means that they have to aid in their own defense. And that's what's happening right now in court, is they are determining that she is not competent. What she's saying will not aid her. So they can't proceed with going through a trial and going through the evidence with her at this point. They will try again in 90 days and they will evaluate her. What she's saying probably matches other evidence that they have that perhaps her husband did kill him, or perhaps that he is buried in their yard. So my guess is they have other evidence, and then on top of her statements that she basically knows this happened for whatever reason, is what has led them to where they are. But it sounds like they have very, very credible evidence, and that today's press conference will likely corroborate something that they found such that they can identify him as being deceased.
So the husband, Stacy, already in jail on unrelated charges. If in fact they find this evidence, they find the remains, they charge him, what then now that he's already in custody?
Oh, they just go through a separate case. He just remains in custody for his current charge, while being tried perhaps on this next charge. So they have not charged him. And my guess is after they identify what is actually going on, if what she's saying is credible, and if they have other evidence that is credible that he actually did kill the little boy.
I'm really curious. That's what I was like, let me see if I think I have a link now. I have a link, not the best audio, but let me put this up on the screen. That's why I kind of wanted to wait before we really talk to see what they say, because at some of these press conferences too, I've been told that they...
Yeah, we expect them to file in here any minute now, Don. It's been a very busy month for the Fruitland Police Department after really not a whole lot of information, at least shared publicly, since Michael Vaughan went missing July 27th of the last year. So it's been almost a year and a half, but this month they made an arrest and they completely excavated the backyard of a home. Beginning earlier this month, that arrest was made on the 11th. Those digging efforts began on the 12th, and we know they were on scene there for more than a week. We did drive by that area on our way here to Fruitland City Hall today, and it is completely back to normal there. No more police tape, no more crews on scene. The fence is back in place.
I wonder what she's doing.
It really looks like their efforts there so far, Don, are done. No, we've heard this more than once from the family representatives and from the police department that there is no connection between the Vaughan family and the home where this search took place. We know the woman who lives in that home, Sarah Wandra, was taken into custody that Friday night and charged with failing to report a death, specifically naming Michael Vaughan in those reports. Now, there is no connection that we've been told of. Police say there's no connection. They don't know each other, but it is extremely close to the family's home, walking distance in a residential area, only a half a mile from where Michael Vaughan was last seen at his home that evening of July 27th. Don?
So we're just waiting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this lady's doing. Maybe she's waiting for it to actually start. There we go. Oh, okay, there we go. Ooh.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to start out by saying thank you to our media partners. Thanks for being here. And thank you for the continued coverage of the Michael Vaughan case. I also wanted to begin by just giving my sincere thanks to all the law enforcement agencies, local businesses, and members of the public who helped us over the course of the last year and a half of this intense investigation. More recently, during the last 3 weeks, we could not have completed the work necessary without the selfless help of others. The community support has been absolutely incredible. As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wandra, one of the known occupants of the home. and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wanderer's home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains.
Wow.
Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains.
Wow.
Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property.
Wow.
As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wanderer's residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed. Evidence suggests that the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan.
Sarah Wondra. So
This is Sarah Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Sarah Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement.
is that the husband? Yeah. Wow. And you know this chick too? I'll tell you.
This is Sarah's husband, Stacy Wondra, 30 years old, a
Sick.
male. Stacy was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Stacy's currently being held in the Washington County Jail on unrelated charges. Now, the next individuals I'm going to introduce you to, let's go at the bottom there.
What?
This is Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacy Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota.
In custody or no? What the heck?
Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacy Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian is currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California. I strongly encourage Shirtliff and Lucien to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close. This remains an active and ongoing investigation, with conversations taking place with the Payette County Prosecutor's Office about Michael's case and those individuals involved. We also believe that there are others associated with the Wondras, Shirtliff, and Lucien, who may have knowledge of Michael's abduction, and I would strongly encourage them to come forward and speak with my detectives. When we finally reach the conclusion of this investigation, and I can assure you that we will, all of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued. There's a moment in time to do the right thing and bring your information forward and cooperate, and that moment in time is now. To date, the Fruitland Police Department has received over 1,500 tips and leads, and we received many new leads since this phase of the investigation has began. We continue to ask our community for support and patience as we continue to aggressively work this case. We also ask that the Vaughan family's privacy continue to be respected, and we'll continue to post updates as information can be shared. Tips can be sent to findmichael@fruitland.org or to Crime Stoppers at 343cops.com or the Fruitland Police Department at 208-452-3110. Tipsters can remain anonymous. So before I open it up for questions, I just want to make it clear that this is a very active and ongoing investigation. It's super important that we maintain the integrity of this investigation. So I'd ask you that you'd please tailor your questions accordingly. With that, I'll stand for a few questions. Alex?
So if Michael's remains are not found, will Sarah have to be released, or do you think that she will remain in jail once you locate the other people that you think are involved?
It is my belief that she will remain in custody. But again, we're in talks with the Fayette County prosecutor, and those talks are ongoing as far as charging.
And you can't speak to any additional evidence that was found in the house, like you said, you can't?
I cannot. Again, I just don't want to jeopardize the integrity of this investigation. Leslie?
J.P. Wandra is listed as an inmate in Washington County Jail, but he's not on the Idaho court records because it's currently like federal hold. Are there any other charges aside from hers that have been filed in relation to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not at this point. Go ahead.
What was different about the tip you received in this case after, 1,500 tips over the last almost year and a half? What led to the arrest and the search? Can you share any more about what led you to that home?
I don't want to get into the details on that, but I can assure you that the tip that we received was credible. I also released that in an earlier statement that it came from one of the occupants of the home, which led to that, yes.
I'm sure that you guys in your investigation are following social media pages, which a lot of us have looked at, and one of them indicates a trip out of state taken within the time frame. Without hampering the investigation, you guys are at least aware of that trip taken to get a dog?
We are currently aware of a lot.
Okay.
And so I would tell you that you just need to trust us and trust in this investigation. We're making tremendous progress. We're comfortable with where we're at. I appreciate that question.
So Sarah Wondra didn't pass her mental evaluation for when they were in the hearing and things. Do you think this affects the investigation at all, considering that to be the case?
I do not at this point.
There have been mentions of a neighbor's yard. Has that been searched in any way or taken into consideration in this investigation?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we'll be deploying ground penetrating radar in the neighbor's yard tomorrow. So we haven't done that yet, but we will. That's on the agenda for tomorrow. So thank you.
Okay, aside from just living with the Wandras, do we know what the relationship with the two men you named were how are they connected with the Wandras?
I'm not, this is ongoing. I'm not going to get into the semantics and dynamics of the relationship there. Alex?
A lot of neighbors spoke to us about a scooter that maybe you guys were looking for. Can you speak to anything about, like, if you had found a scooter, if that was related, or if that's something that you were possibly looking for at the Wonders residence at all?
Again, that's evidentiary in nature, and I'm not going to speak to that at this point. So.
You mentioned the other property that's going to be starting to be searched tomorrow. Are there warrants for any other properties besides that have been sought out?
Not at this point, but, through the course of this investigation, I believe that there are other locations that we will definitely be searching. So there is no warrant for the search that we're going to do tomorrow. It's all consensual. So I appreciate that.
Was the warrant that was executed in CUNA in recent weeks related to Brandon Shirtliff?
We did not have a warrant for any home in CUNA.
But Was there a search related
So.
to his home?
Yes, there was.
You said that you believe that one of them is in North Dakota. You haven't located him yet. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Do you mind spelling their last names for us? I'm sorry.
Sure, I can. You obviously have the Wanderer's last name, correct? Okay. Last of Shurtliff is Shurtliff. Last of Lucien is Lucienne. Okay, all right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to conclude this press conference. Karen, one more?
One more. If neither of these individuals do come forward with information, could they face any charges related to hampering an investigation or anything like that?
You know, I would tell you that, I'm not going to discuss our investigative strategies at this point, but it is my belief that charges are forthcoming.
Just one last question. I know you're very proud of your team that's really done an amazing job so far. Can you talk more about that and about how they're doing?
You know,
It's got to be tough.
it is tough. You know, we've lived this case from the time that it began, and but I'm telling you, I've got a very strong, committed group of people here, and they come in here every day, and we're in this grind, and they are committed to finding Michael, and we're just not going to stop. Everybody should know that we are not going to stop until we uncover the truth in its entirety, I would say. So, thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Wow. So I gotta ask about these other people. What the hell? Who the hell? And the thing, Sarah, this woman had Michael's picture on her Facebook. These crazy people. How do you keep that a secret? All of them? Let me bring in, look at this shit. Let me bring in, Lana. Let me see if we got the audio. Oh, I didn't even add you to stream. I'm sorry. Lana, are you there? Amazing.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes. How are you doing?
Thank you
Welcome.
so much.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. How can you tell me, start off maybe how you got involved in this case? I mean, you've spoken to family too?
Yes, I've spoken to family. I did hear from Brandy just, minutes prior to the press conference today. Since the dig started, I, do speak to her about daily. How I came into this case was, for those that don't know, I grew up in Payette, Idaho, right neighboring to Fruitland, little town there. My dad was a police officer when I was a little kid, and we rode our bikes all over. I was a single mom of two little boys. When they were Michael's age, we still lived over there in Payette. I had not yet moved to Boise. And so when I saw Monkey's face start to be shared, he's blonde hair, blue eyes, like my youngest. I lived in the area. There was just a lot of pieces that kind of pulled at my heartstrings. Primarily, I got really lit up when I learned that Michael did not get an Amber Alert. And so I joined the Facebook community group and just started to, get on the email chains for the Amber Alert reform and share posters, things like that. Help with local media contacts, because at the time I worked in marketing. So I was able to help them with some interviews and outreach of that nature.
Okay. What are you, these other two people that they met, I don't even remember their names now that they mentioned. Have they been on the radar before?
So this is Stacy Wondra that you're looking at right now. He's been in jail since
this
May.
Stacy. Oh, I don't know why I was thinking.
That's Stacy. The wife is Sarah.
Oh,
yeah,
oops.
Stacy
Okay.
is a male.
Oh, okay.
And he's been in jail on unrelated charges since May
Okay.
in Washington County.
And then the two new people, I mean, at least new to me.
New to me as well, other than, you know, social media hoopla and some of the stuff that got, but these are definitely all people that the Vaughan Neal family did not know prior
That
to
is
this.
crazy.
Did not know. They do not live on the same block. I saw some people in chat saying it's the same block. And there's many videos that show maps if people want to go look, but they are not on the same block as the Vaughns. They are in the same subdivision. So it's about a 4-minute walk from the Vaughan house.
Oh, okay. Holy crap. I'm just kind of shocked to see that they added these two other people out of nowhere. And so, in this presser, they said that they still haven't found them. But
correct.
that
They have found no remains, but the dogs sniffed. That was news to me. Well, of course, just heard that as you guys. I did make a note, and again, I'll have to go back and watch because I was watching it live with you all. But JD Huff did say they believed he was buried there and moved. I made a note of that to go back and listen to him say that again because JD's really good with his wording and very, you know, specific in particular. So it does sound like from this press conference, they believe Michael may have been killed and buried there and then moved. And also he admitted that they're going to be doing ground sonar equipment on the neighbor's yard, which I don't know if that means the Starkeys next door or the people to the back. He didn't clarify that.
Now, and one of the neighbors, because I remember when the whole thing started going down that like people thought people had the wrong address or something because they thought
they did. They said 1100 at first. Yeah. Yep.
And so because there is some sort of like predators or sexual offenders that live there.
There is directly next door. So Sarah and Stacey Wonder live at 1102 Red Wing, which law enforcement has stated. And directly next door, there are, public record married couple that have very gruesome sex offenses on their record. Yes.
Wow.
But law enforcement stated they've never said no, anybody's cleared. What they did state since the search has began is that those neighbors have and are being cooperative. So Sarah's parents also live on the same block. They live a block over. So basically 4 houses away from Sarah, and they own both homes.
Who is your current?
Wow. Can you tell me I don't want to get too much into drama, but like, how's it been for the family? It seems like it's been a roller coaster, hasn't it? And then the whole thing, I forgot what happened, but like, I remember there was a situation where, well, maybe I don't even want to, she didn't know that, I forgot what it was. Somebody had called the police and the police revealed some information. The police station, a 911 call, they revealed, I forgot what it was, some information, and Brandon didn't know. I guess she found out through the internet.
Oh, yes. That was, that was a little bit of drama that happened. And I think it's because really the larger issue at hand with that is, social media web sleuths overstepping boundaries. And it's not just that particular person. It is a large issue, and it's happened to the Vaughan family time and time and time again. That specific case, she did get a piece of information like live, which she said she shouldn't have been on there. It wasn't, I don't think any of the parties intentionally meant for that to happen, in my opinion. However, it did happen. So it just gives us all an opportunity to kind of reflect on how we practice sharing information, especially with families of missing children or victims of crime.
Right. I wonder why these other people, it seems like they haven't been arrested yet. The two people.
No, he did state they are in other states. And one of them's been interviewed on I'm not going to name the person because I don't want your very wonderful following to go find it. But some of these not so ethical creators have been sticking noses in and trying to interview people that could be potential suspects. And actually one of these people that they just showed the face of has been interviewed on YouTube. saying he didn't have any part of anything. So that's kind of
Wow.
interesting to me to see that right now. So,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
this is why you don't
Wow.
get involved. This is why you don't call neighbors. This is why, you know, it's one thing to discuss cases, but it's a whole nother to take it to that level and cross those boundaries.
Do you feel like how have police been handled this case? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Do I
oh.
feel they what?
How do you feel they've handled the case?
Oh, how do they feel they handled it?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel they have handled it very well. I have to give a lot of praise to Chief Huff, because when they didn't have a resource available to them in Fruitland, he found it. You know, because oftentimes these things, you know, happen in smaller communities where there aren't the resources to solve it, or, you know, there aren't the agencies to mine the data, or there aren't the additional search and rescue organizations. And he went and found anyone and everyone he could to partner with to help find Michael. I think the painful part for myself, which isn't necessarily law enforcement's fault, is just how long it takes to get information in general. The warrant process, you know, a lot of that really held them up along the way. So we may have had answers sooner had there not been, you know, people have the right to privacy. Even registered sex offenders have the right to privacy and can tell you, no, you can't search my home without probable cause. So I think there were a lot of things that held them up, but I do really commend them so much. Even when I've been frustrated, I mean, trust me, I've had a couple of times where I'm like, hey, why aren't you guys doing this? Or why aren't you helping with the social media attacks? Or there's people out here leaking information that could be pertinent to Michael's case. And I would feel frustrated. So I would email myself, you know, and be like, hey, why are you allowing this to happen? But at the end of the day, I always trusted and knew that they had Michael's best interest at heart and that his safe recovery was always the top priority, and that was always what they kept their focus on.
Okay. And so the people's names, Dick sent it to me. It's Brandon Shirtliff and the other one's Adrian Lucian. These are the two new suspects added at the press conference. This, I don't know if you can see the screen here. This is Sandra's TikTok, I guess. It looks like
one of them. I believe
them.
She has multiple. Yeah.
Okay. And is there some sort of 'cause I thought I had heard some sort of religious aspect to this whole thing too.
To her, yeah, there was something. Well, there was a news organization in Idaho that obtained the now sealed probable cause document in her charge, and they obtained it, you know, legally a couple hours before it was sealed in court, but they published their article like at the same time her hearing was happening. So a little bit of ethical question there maybe. But that document did talk about how she was saying her most high God told her this, and things like that. And then when you go look at her many TikToks, she's crying about being grateful to God and the all high God and God Almighty. Yeah.
Yeah, she posts a lot on TikTok. Jeez.
She does. She does. There's a lot.
And it looks like she's doing all these Bible
Yep.
pages, references. Wow. I'm really hoping that more comes out so they can get charges. I mean, because right now she's just locked up on withholding information, I guess, right?
Yeah, so her charge is failure to report the death of Michael Vaughan. That's her actual charge. So they're saying she had knowledge of it and failed to report his death. She's currently being held at the state mental hospital because she was found incompetent by her first hearing. But Idaho doesn't allow the crazy plea. So they will hold you in a state hospital and get your meds regulated and get you counseled. And, you know, they'll do that and they'll keep assessing her until they feel that she can understand and participate in her own defense. So her next status hearing will be December 23rd to determine if she's capable of participating in her defense at that point. And if not, you know, they'll just keep going and reassessing her until she can participate.
Is there any significance? Because I remember people were looking at the grill thing. I guess this is her last post.
This is April
Oh, let's listen for a
13th,
second.
2022.
That's her backyard, yeah.
Me and my husband's anniversary, April 13th. Do you see what that is? That is snow.
Snow freaking way.
Snow freaking way. So this is
And then I think to the other side, like if we were to be able to pan over and look to the right, which we can't, I think there was a shed that was built over there. It might be that corner, it might be the other one. Sometimes it's hard for me because the cameras flip them and they've seen so many images from various, you know, outlets. But there was a shed put in the backyard at some point after Michael's disappearance. And they did, you know, go around that shed with smaller tools one day. And work around it. So they were very thorough, you know, as excruciating and difficult as it was for us as a community to watch this happen. They were very, very thorough in that dig to make sure, you know, that he was there or not there.
Wow. I mean, and they went through the whole backyard. And so now they're saying they're going to go. I wonder if the neighbor that they're gonna go that they got permission from, I guess it's not the offenders.
So the one to right by your cursor there,
yeah,
no, go back over, kind of pan back where you were. That house right there is the offenders.
Okay.
They're right to the side. So that's why I'm saying I don't know, because there's a house to the back of them as well. When they say neighbor yard, I don't know which neighbor yard, and he didn't specify. So
that's just wild to think.
Oh, no,
that,
wait,
like,
this is her backyard. So wait a second. Now I'm flipped around. That's not.
Oh, it's not. So it'd be the other side.
It'd be the other side because it's directly next to them. See, this is what happens with watching these videos and images. Yeah, because 1102 is their 1102 is their number and 1100 is the offender. So it's directly next to it.
It's just so wild to think that, like, all this time right there, these people that are involved, like, how far is this from the house again? Like, this is pretty close, right?
So it's half a mile, yeah. So you literally can go just, you know, doop 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 doop, like 3 blocks. Boom, boom. But it's far enough, and it's in a different direction. So the places that Michael has ventured before, you know, because he has older siblings, he followed them to the local park one time, but that's the other direction. So where these people live would be complete opposite direction of the park and the kids and the houses that he went to looking for friends to play with. So even if a 5-year-old, just turned 5-year-old, would have ventured half a mile away, there was a lot of houses going that direction, you know, and nobody had seen him past that point of the last neighbor he knocked on. So, you know, they've always speculated that he was placed in a vehicle at that point, but have never confirmed. But if he was placed in a vehicle and moved just to the other side of the neighborhood, then that's where it would have been.
This image, I've seen this. I forget where it was. This one of the persons of interest at one point. I wonder if this is the guy.
He was
now.
not on a scooter. Somebody's saying something about scooter. I want to clear that up. They have not said anything about a scooter. He was on foot wearing flip-flops. All the neighbors that saw him said that. There's a social media rumor about a scooter because supposedly or allegedly a neighbor is claiming they were asked about a scooter. Like, did you see this scooter? However, law enforcement has not released anything about a scooter, and all neighbors saw him on foot on the street. So if something comes out later about a scooter, then that's something that's been kept from everyone. But thus far, there's no scooter.
Okay, and because I remember in the beginning of the story too, there was something about like that Michael. I'm thinking of the correct story. Michael had gone to somebody's house and they turned him away.
He did. He went to a few houses. So what had happened that evening is, law enforcement tightened the window of disappearance down to 6:40 p.m. to 7 p.m. the evening of July 27th. Michael was at home with his father and other siblings, and his little baby sister was taking a nap. He was playing Switch on the counter, and Tyler, the dad, went down to wake up the baby, change her diaper, ordered a pizza, stepped outside to smoke, and then that's when he noticed, like, oh, Michael's no longer in the living room area playing the Switch, so started to look around for him, go in and ask the kids, hey, have you seen Michael, and started to proceed outside to look for Michael. After all was said and done and investigated, multiple neighbors gave statement that Michael knocked on their door. The house directly next to them, they very close to the Vaughns. He had knocked on their door, and that guy walked him back to the mailbox, but then he continued on to other houses to look for kids. And one of the neighbors did say something to him like, do you have your mom's permission or, to come play? And he was like, no. And they said, well, go get mom's permission. So, people didn't turn him away in the sense that I think social media has made it sound. I think it was just more of a, nobody can play right now, or you need to go get permission right now type thing.
Who were the people that were like accused or people were pointing fingers at throughout this entire situation, the story?
Who were the ones that what?
That were accused. Like, I'm sure people thought Brandy was involved, then the father.
Oh yeah, from the beginning, social media has pointed fingers at the father because he was the one that was home alone with the kids. Okay. And Brandy was at work. They both work at the same place, but they work like opposite shifts so they can, switch off with the kids. And so she was at work when it happened and he was home alone with them. So.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody has any questions in the chat. I appreciate you coming on to kind of break down some of the things. And let's talk a little bit. Can we talk a little bit about the website for Michael Vaughan, his family? So you want to explain a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. We set this up actually beginning of November before any of this has started. I'm glad that we did. We had some holiday meal train up, which has already been filled. The kids put up a Christmas list, which has mostly been purchased, but the Amazon list is on there. And then there's also the Venmo for the family if you would like to help out, because they've not been able to work since the search started. And so in any way that you want to help, we've tried to make it available. Oh, you clicked the grocery one. I meant to take that off. Go back and look at the Christmas list. Sorry. No. Wait. You're scrolling too fast. I can't see. Yes. That's the Christmas list. Okay, yeah. So see, most of it's been bought, but there's still a few teenager things left on there. So some gift cards, looks like for Ben, Big Brother, some teen clothes. And then people can always reach out to me. I'm accessible if you want to help the family. People have done that before and reach out to me and message and, offer ways to help. So.
Okay. And so has Brandy been working and stuff? Has the family been?
Sorry, I was looking at chat. People said something about somebody. It's been wonderful. I don't want to talk about that person on your channel. I try to like not give them further platform to what they've done and just speak to the behavior. But, the family, is that what you asked? How the family's doing?
I was asking about like, they haven't been working, right? Or Brandy or
they have been through this, just not since like this dig portion started, because when they arrested Sarah and started this part, Chief Huff was like, you guys need to stay home through this. So, and as you can imagine, it's been extremely difficult. So, yeah.
Okay. It's a really nice website too. I remember when you first sent it to me, I was pretty impressed the way it was done. So, definitely guys, I put the link in the description too. So if you don't want to click now, you want to do it after the stream, you can do that as well. It'll be in the description. And so you can either click the links and do Venmo or the Amazon wish
Yeah,
list.
and just to be clear, like, I want to make sure everyone understands, like, this money does not go through me. There is a bookkeeper, and we are in process of getting a trust attorney through the Idaho Pro Bono Attorney Association, because there's been so much judgment and, quite frankly, I mean, a whole bunch of lies said about myself on social media and my background. So we made sure to set this up that the family has safety around how fundraising takes place, and that there is accounting and legalities and processes in place. So there's an independent bookkeeper that manages the accounts and gets the money to the family, and that's who's, managing that. So if you want to help with money, like, we want to make it available for you to. And if you don't want to help with money, then we just want to say, shut the up and go away, because there shouldn't be any judgment to what a family needs when their child has been possibly murdered.
Yeah.
And they need time. And anyone that's squawking about it, quite frankly, they're the ones that have been pointing the finger at the family this whole time. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, it's optional. So I mean, people don't have to,
Yeah.
complain about it. Just, don't do it then. So, but yeah, I sent them to some money the other day, Venmo, just to support. I was gonna try to do the grocery list. I don't even know if that's active
Oh my
anymore.
gosh, that went so fast. The grocery, I need to go, actually, so now that
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, I need to go take it off there because it was depleted so quickly. And then we also put up a meal calendar where you can take a hot dinner, and that got filled up.
That's pretty
So
cool.
they are
Yeah.
just getting so much food. And and then, like you showed, the Christmas list was almost purchased. So it really does help. It really helps them to feel comfort and community and love. You'd be surprised how much, a hot dinner can bring comfort to someone when they're experiencing trauma and tragedy.
Right. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what the family's gone through. I mean, I've heard rumblings, and people going after or accusing, whatever. I when I had first covered this, I was looking a little bit at the press conferences at first, because I was like, damn, like, they're not talking. I was just wondering what's going on. They're probably instructed not to, but then she went on and did a lot of press conferences and different channels and stuff like that. And I've seen multiple interviews by them, and
and Tyler was not involved in the interviews early on. And I don't even think it wasn't until, I think, the 1 year and birthday point that he really sat down and did some. And so he got the scrutiny from those with opinions saying, if he's not talking, then he must have done something, when in reality, his guilt was around being the only parent home when his child got out the door. And, and now here we are without Michael. Right. So that's where, if any guilt and grief lies, it is within that moment, and personally, I don't feel as a parent that he deserves any further shame or blame. He's done everything he can to help find his son, and he will live with that, day forever. But that was the only reason. He just, these weren't social media people before this happened. Even Brandy, they had their social media for family and whatnot, but they were not out there trying to be famous or, be on interviews or cameras at all. So all of that was very uncomfortable. And then to have the whole world be watching you during one of the most vulnerable, painful experiences of your life makes it really hard to sit down and have a casual conversation with complete strangers.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I agree. Well, thank you so much, Lana, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you for explaining everything and answering some of the questions in the chat, and helping me out with the stream too.
Yeah, always here. Hit us up if you need any follow-ups or have any questions about Michael, and definitely appreciate everyone in your chat, supporting and sharing his story and keeping his face out there.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. So that was Lana. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate the assistance. I was figuring we can look at some of the videos What a weird situation though. And what I was gonna say, it's just like crazy that these people are like so close. That's what, like, you gotta be so careful with, like, you know, in your neighborhood. People just, who know, I wonder if they were watching him for a long period of time, or they just took the opportunity, just get, you know, opportunistic at the time and moment. And the sick, crazy shit, right, is that this the Facebook page with Michael on it. I saw another post. I forgot what other post they had on Facebook.
This lady get her boys some justice for real.
Whoa.
I've had to go through what they've had to go through when they were little, and it's not. It ruins you for the rest of your life. There's just things now that are just ruined for me that I wish I would have had some justice for.
Oh.
So please help them.
Oh.
I'm going to leave the link. Well, the link's in my bio, but I'm also going to put it here on the page screen. So please go to the GoFundMe and support them getting their way to court, basically, so they can lock up this guy that really hurt them.
So there's a GoFundMe, and it says, "My name is Sarah. I'm advocating for my friend who needs to get justice for her 2 boys. She needs to show up in court a few states away and has an autistic son and another son who came into some real trauma from their biological dad, who is now on trial." They only raised 2. They only had 2 donations of $40, so $80 total.
God is bigger than the wind, bigger than anything. He made the wind, and I don't have to be afraid, cause he made the wind. And he's bigger than the wind, and I trust in him. Have a good day.
Is it just me too, or does it seem like Idaho has a lot of weird people? Over the last couple of, I don't know, 2 weeks, all the weird stories, and like the coyotes and the skinned animals and all this kind of shit.
God is big.
Creepy as shit.
So if you watched hardly any of my videos, you would know that I don't really promote things money-wise very often. But this lady definitely needs her sons to be able to go get justice at the court, because the man that hurt him, her son, is trying to...
Isn't it ironic to this woman talking about justice and to help other kid or somebody's kids out or whatever?
Gain access again, and so I need somebody to really go to.
Freak show. I wanted to show this as well. I never got to watch this.
November of this year. Are you Sarah Wandra?
Yeah, excuse me.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Guess I'll stay here.
I need you to move in a little closer to the mic. I'm unable to hear you.
They are weird, huh?
Okay. You're Stacy Wandra?
I'm Sarah Wandra, sorry.
You're Sarah Wandra. Okay, thank you. Ms. Wandra, in this case, which is CR 38221769, you are charged with having violated the law in one count. It is alleged that you did on or about the 12th day of November of this year, here in the state of Idaho, fail to notify the coroner of a death.
Thank you, guys.
The death of Michael Vaughan, with the intent to prevent the discovery of the manner of death. That is a felony here in the state of Idaho. Do you understand the allegation that's been made against you?
I understand what they've said is not correct.
All right. You have a number of rights when you are charged with a crime. The deputies typically hand out a document that describes those rights in detail. Did you receive a document like that?
They're giving me documents right now.
All right. So in a criminal case, ma'am, you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, is that how she normally talks? I mean, I guess in the videos it kind of seemed like that. Or is she like medicated or something?
As it relates to the underlying
What's she putting on a front?
charges. You have the right to require the state to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to cross-examine and confront the evidence the state may put on in an effort to prove its case, the right to testify in your own defense if you wish to, the right to use subpoenas to bring witnesses and evidence to the trial as you may determine to be appropriate, and the right to be represented by an attorney at all stages of these proceedings. Do you understand that you have those rights?
I have those rights, but I don't have any reason to be silent. I did nothing wrong.
All right, well, so I'm
Have those rights, but what?
going to remind you that do you understand that you have those rights?
I have those rights, but I don't have any reason to be silent. I did nothing wrong.
All right, well, so I'm going to remind you that you have the right to remain silent. I'm not going to say anything to you or ask you any questions that are designed to get you to speak about or encourage you to speak about the underlying events. But everyone who gives up that right and does speak about the case or make any statement at all about it, of course, those can be used against you. So I'll remind you of that. As it relates to your right to an attorney, do you intend to ask me to appoint an attorney at public expense? Do you intend to hire your own counsel or represent yourself in this case?
I'll represent myself. No, get an attorney.
Oh, well, at first it sounded like, I don't know if she was questioning, repeating what he was saying, or at first she was saying she was going to represent herself and thought about it and then said, no, I'm going to get an attorney.
Represent yourself in this case.
I'll represent myself. No, get an attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like she changed her mind.
You want me to appoint an attorney to help you at county expense?
I point one.
All right, let me have you raise your right hand to be sworn so I can ask you some questions to be sure you qualify. You solemnly swear the testimony that you're about to give me will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wandra, what is your current physical address?
Well, I live in Henry, but 1102 Burning Street, Fruitland, Idaho, 83619.
And your current telephone number? No, what, scratch that. I'm not going to ask you about that right now. Who is your current employer?
I am employed myself, self-employed, taxi driver.
And what is your typical income in a week?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know the exact amount. I haven't been doing many taxi rides lately.
More or less than $500 a week?
Probably more than 500. I haven't, again, doing it.
Damn, the hell's
So are you
wrong?
working it all right now?
Oof. Yeah, I don't know. Is she on something? Like, in the way her eyes are moving and stuff? Wow. Jesus.
So are you working it all right now?
Well, obviously not if I'm in jail, but I only work day to day.
Right, so I'm just trying to get an idea of what your typical income is. Obviously, when a person's in custody, they can't generate income.
I don't know my exact income.
All right. Do you own any land or buildings anywhere?
I don't own land or buildings.
How much money do you have in the bank or cash on hand?
I think I have some change in my purse.
Do you own any personal property worth more than $1,000?
I gave everything to the most I got, but I am a car, partially car, but I also got about the whole thing.
Meaning you owe money against it to someone?
No, I half own it with my dad.
I see. All right, I do find you qualify for the appointment of an attorney. I'm going to appoint in this case Ms. Jolene Maloney. I did review an affidavit of probable cause in this case and do, for purposes of this appearance, find probable cause. What's the state's position, if any, on bond?
Your Honor, the state is asking for a relatively high bond. Obviously, there are implications associated with this charge. And this is the young boy that we're talking about has been missing for a year and a half. And so, it should be noted that Ms. Wandra is on pretrial release for federal gun charges for felon in possession of a firearm. And so, and while that would have happened after Michael Vaughan initially disappeared, I think it shows that she's a danger to the community, and she fails to abide by the social norms that we all expect. And there are obviously very serious implications in her being aware of his whereabouts this whole time. So the state's asking for a $1 million bond.
Ms. Maloney, what presentation would you like to make?
Your Honor, I recognize these are serious allegations. I would ask that the court consider the charges as they presently are and how they are articulated within the probable cause affidavit and the absence of certain facts which may create issues with probable cause. I recognize that the court may have some concern regarding release. At this time, however, I would ask that the court consider any electronic monitoring in lieu or in conjunction with a lower bond, less than $1 million. $1 million.
All right, in this case, the court, as it does in all cases, of course, takes into account Idaho Criminal 46 and the factors set forth there, specifically problematic as it relates to a release conditions or on Ms. Wandra's own recognizance or her criminal history, which the court was provided as part of the probable cause affidavit, the possibility of violations of law were she to be released, and the inability to necessarily manage those effectively with restrictions on her release. The nature of her criminal history certainly would bring her character and reputation into question or disrepute. Unfortunately, taking those factors into account, the court will set bond in this case in the amount of $500,000. Should that bond be posted, Ms. Wandra must immediately sign up to pretrial release services to be monitored. She must be fitted with a GPS tracking device prior to her release from custody. She must not commit crimes pending the resolution of this case. She must not leave the state of Idaho. She must remain sober. Maintain contact with her attorney, attend all of her court hearings, sign a waiver of extradition, and sign up to pretrial release before leaving. Otherwise,
I wonder who was the person in the house that gave the tip. I don't think they ever said, I guess. Private.
Yeah, the county court.
PB&J, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, Mel, thank you for always doing great and respectful coverage. Please post the link to merch and donate to Michael Vaughan's family in your description again. Sure, I'll post it again. It's in the description, but I will post it in the chat.
Otherwise,
now what?
Courthouse complex. I'm going to set this for a status conference and review hearing on the 21st and 22nd of November. The status conference will be at 10 a.m. on the 21st and the preliminary hearing at 9 a.m. on the 22nd.
Your Honor, prior to the court recessing, may we take up a procedural issue?
Yes, I did receive, in this case, a motion, so it wasn't even filed yet. My clerk just handed it to me, a motion to seal at least the affidavit of probable cause.
It's not applicable?
Is that right, Mr. Duke?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Does the defense object to taking that up now?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Duke?
Your Honor, the state's requesting that the probable cause affidavit be sealed. Obviously, this is a high-profile case, and there are privacy concerns as well as jury trial concerns should the details within the PC affidavit be released. And in addition to those articulated in the motion, there is still an ongoing investigation.
They're telling me the link in the description doesn't work. So let me, I'm going to fix it real quick. My bad. Okay, I guess I probably needed to add the HTTPS. So I'm adding it now. Okay, it should work now.
Investigation, and so we worry about
Thank you for telling me.
the impact that releasing certain details in the PC affidavit would have on the investigation. So we respectfully request that the court seal the PC affidavit, at least temporarily, until we can have more time to flesh out those matters. Thank you.
Ms. Maloney, what response do you have, if any, if you have an objection at all, I suppose?
Your Honor, defense joins the motion, and I think it's appropriate pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32, little I, 2, big E, that this could jeopardize future proceedings given the public nature of this case at this time. So I would ask that the court grant the state's motion.
All right, I've reviewed Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32, I, and the authority that courts have to exercise discretion in the sealing or not of court documents. And I am going to seal the affidavit of probable cause and the investigative reports attached thereto pursuant to the motion, specifically taking into account subpart 2E and the preservation of right to a fair trial. The court is aware of the intense public interest in this matter and how publication of the details of this case may interfere with the ability to panel a jury and receive a fair trial in the case. In addition, the less focus, I suppose, for the court, there are some risks of harm to.
Yeah, I heard Infamous Truth said there's somebody that did an interview with somebody that was staying there for a little while. He spoke about Brandon and said one person went back to California. He just came down to visit. Damn. Lord almighty. Bryce Star said, I saw that interview. The guy was sitting in a hot tub. And the thing with that, like, so they're not arrested yet. And so, and it's like, we want to talk to you, I guess. But like, I don't know. Wouldn't that kind of make them go on the run, I guess? I think it was this one.
It's been more than a year and a half since Michael Monkey Vaughan went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood. He was just 5 years old. And just about an hour ago, Fruitland Police Chief J.D. Huff says they completed the excavation of the backyard of a home just 4 minutes from the Vaughan's house on Friday.
This was 7 days ago, this video.
He also says they've just wrapped up searching the inside of that home today. They're looking for Michael's remains there. News Channel 7's Abby Davis joins us now live in Fruitland at a prayer circle the community organized for Michael and his family. And Abby, they want to lift up this family in this really terrible time for them.
That's right, Doug. Their biggest thing right now is just to show Michael, show the entire Vaughan family that the Fruitland community is here and that they are here to support them. Right now, there are about 50 people at this prayer circle. You can kind of see behind me, you can see those lights. People are just lighting them right now, and people are still trickling in as well. Now, the organizer told me that they will start the prayer circle with a pastor who will be praying, and then a family is also here and ready to sing some songs. So a night of really coming together, that is the biggest thing right now. They want to just come together, like I said, and make sure that the Vaughan family feels the love and feels the support in this tragedy that everybody here has been feeling so closely. Now, this isn't the first time that they've done something like this. The community came together last year as well for a candlelight vigil. That was on Christmas Eve. So this is definitely something the community is familiar with, just continuing to show the Vaughan family that they are there for them. Their biggest thing is that they just want to come together and until they have answers, until they have something concrete. And like Doug said earlier, Chief Huff told me they finished processing the yard and house that Sarah Wandra lived in. Wandra has been charged with failure to report a death, but her status conference was rescheduled to December 23rd because a judge ruled that she is mentally unfit to assist in her own defense and she needs treatment. Just to clarify, Wandra was the person who lived in the house that they have been digging up the backyard and searching the house for. So Huff told me that they're not quite sure, that he said that they're looking to provide more information about what actually came out of that search next week, about Wednesday or Thursday. So of course we will keep you guys posted, but it looks like people are just continuing to come and they are starting right now. It's a pretty somber mood here right now, Doug. It is, but a somber mood and an attempt to really uplift the family and let them know that they're thinking about them.
I guess we'll keep an eye on this story. I think I just wanted to come back and touch up on this story and kind of definitely put the links out for the family if you're interested in supporting. I sent a donation. I think it was like a week or two ago through Venmo. I don't like Venmo at all. It would have been nice. They had issues with Cash App or something like that. That's why they're not using Cash App, I heard. Venmo, I don't know why. It's working for me now, but I always had issues with Venmo. So I sent something there. So if in case you can't, don't feel bad. A lot of the times when I can, I'll take, money from the channel. I'll just donate it to a family or whatever. I think that's it for now with Michael. I will be following, probably with shorter videos. Today, I think what I want to do today too, there was something I thought was interesting with the Idaho murders, the university. And so I might do like a pre-recorded video and do some editing. I mean, unless there's enough for a live, but I'll probably do that if I even have notifications, because there was a chase last night that didn't, I don't know how many chases we missed last night. I caught one, but it turned out to be nothing really. Oh, there was, so I'm thinking too, you want to see a crazy story? Silvio sent me the other day. I'm thinking too, one of these days, I don't know if I'm going to leave it for the weekend. We could do every now and then I like to do a crazy stories stream, just weird, odd, just all together. We can go through it together and kind of just listen to some of them. I'm thinking it's almost time for that because I need to collect somewhere. I'll probably make an area on Discord too. If people on Discord want to submit stories that'll be good for a stream, they're just weird. I think I'm going to start doing that as well. He sent me, let me see the link. Wait 1 second. I'm scrolling. Silvio's been sending me a lot of different things. If I could find it. Okay, not that. Careful what I show here. All right, this story here, I'll just do this before we head out, but I'd like to, in a little while after I get Maddie settled and stuff, maybe I'll do a pre-recorded video. It's something I thought was interesting with this whole Idaho stuff, but this is separate. This just happened recently. Former Virginia State trooper kills 3 after catfishing teenage girl. This shit is wild. Maybe we can even find some more information on this.
Tonight, neighbors in Riverside, California are grappling with shocking details, each more horrifying than the last. A burnt-out home, a teenager abducted, a law enforcement officer killed in a shootout, and 3...
So this guy got into a shootout as well when the cops caught up with him, I guess, and he killed a cop. This guy kills the family, kills a cop.
Teenager abducted, a law Details, each more horrifying than the last. A burnt-out home, a teenager abducted, a law enforcement officer killed in a shootout.
Burnt the house too, I think.
And 3 beloved community members dead.
I'm so sad and sick to my stomach that, this would even happen.
Police now say that 28-year-old Austin...
Look at this dude.
Lee Edwards, a former Virginia state trooper who...
Looking like an incel too, kind of.
Most recently been working with the local sheriff's department, drove more than 2,000 miles to meet up with a teenage girl. Investigators say he'd obtained her personal information by deceiving her with a false identity online. That's known as catfishing.
Well, he couldn't go with his identity.
We do believe is while he was contacting her online and digitally, that he was portraying to be a younger age, probably a teenager.
According to police, Edwards killed the girl's mother, Brooke Winnick, and grandparents Mark and Sherry Winnick, and set their home on fire. Then he fled the scene with the girl, who officials say appeared distressed. Sheriff's deputies tracked him down and shot him dead after he opened fire. The girl survived and is now in protective custody.
This should clearly be a wake-up call for all parents. You basically, as a parent, want your voice to be in your teenager's head, reminding them to be safe and not give out personal, private information.
The sheriff's department, where Edwards had been hired this month, says that none of his previous employers had disclosed any reprimands or internal investigations.
Bruh, he was just a cop. Wow. This other link right here.
That's a live now look in Los Angeles. We show you all of these nighttime skyline shots from around the country and around the world. We're going to story. It's a bizarre story. It's a tragic story. It's a story you probably will be shocked to hear more about. This Virginia police officer catfished a teen girl, traveled all the way to California, and ended up murdering members of her family. I know it sounds almost too unbelievable to be true. We're joined right now by Fox.
I don't even know how do you even give commentary on this shit? Like, you keep hearing all these crazy stories. Who has the time? Apparently this guy to do that kind of shit, to take the time to catfish, all that time and effort, fake profile, all this kind of stuff. Who knows how long he spoke to this girl. Then drive, not even fly, drive. Is that what I think they said drive, or maybe they said travel. I thought they said he drove there, 2,000 something miles, and then kill the family and burn the place, I think.
Fox 11 Los Angeles reporter Haley Winslow. She's outside of the home, I believe, of the family. Haley, what more do we know? Walk our viewers through this. This is the first some of them have heard of this.
Andrew, the details of this will just break your heart.
At least 7 possible overdoses at Van Nuys Middle School. Large response. Holy crap. I'll take a look. While we play this, I'm going to see if I can pull up information on that.
I mean, it is absolutely gut-wrenching. This is the home where the fire happened and where the triple homicide happened. And friends came by earlier today to light the candles again as the sun disappeared into the night. This is still a crime scene investigation, one of 3. And next door, the lady had just taken her turkey out of the refrigerator the day after Thanksgiving, walked in the backyard for a second and saw the smoke in the back of the house and went to the front and saw flames coming out. That's when she called 911 on her.
11 students treated for medical emergency. Okay. Wow. At least 10 students treated for possible overdoses in LA middle school.
Next door neighbors, who she says were more like family, the most loving people, she said, you could ever meet.
This son of a that did this, he just has no clue what he took away from this world.
For more than 20 years, they were next door neighbors, and the best kind.
Every neighborhood needs a Winnick family because they just were the all-American, loving, caring, supporting family that you can ever ask for.
Early afternoon, the day after Thanksgiving, Riverside police say Sheriff's Deputy Austin Lee Edwards out of Virginia brutally murdered Mark, Sherry, and their 38-year-old daughter, Brooke Winnick.
Wow. Oh, she's 38.
Set their Price Court home on fire.
It was a very disturbing crime scene. This guy is, or was, a monster. This guy's a pedophile. He's a, this guy.
Yeah, Day after Thanksgiving, Riverside police say Sheriff's Deputy Austin Lee Edwards out of Virginia brutally murdered Mark, Sherry, and their 38-year-old daughter, Brooke Winnick, then set their Price Court home on fire.
It was a very disturbing crime scene. This guy is, or was, a monster. This guy's a pedophile. He's an online predator.
Detectives say he was after Brooke's 15-year-old daughter. Home at the time, he had met her online.
15 is the teenage girl. So it was I believe the mother of the girl and the grandparents.
And drove his car across the country to meet her with ill intentions. They say he was catfishing, pretending to be somebody else. In this case, a teenage boy, when in fact he was 28.
The online deception, catfishing, other techniques happens daily. It's probably going on right now somewhere in the country, in our county. As much as being a parent isn't fun sometimes, I have been there, you've got to check their devices, put filters, have parental controls on these things.
Parked in another neighbor's driveway.
It's probably kind of hard, though. I mean, I don't know. Once they get teenagers, it's going to be probably hard to enforce that. But I'm sure there's things you can do. But these kids these days are probably going to fight you on that.
They left. That woman who described the girl as in distress gave police his license plate. Officers tracked them down halfway to Vegas.
That shit can get you killed, too. If you're not checking on your kids' stuff, it can potentially get your whole family killed.
And say during the pursuit, Edwards lost control while shooting at police and their chopper. The girl managed to escape.
Shooting at police and the chopper? Is there actual chase for this?
Edwards' license plate. Officers tracked them down halfway to Vegas and say during the pursuit, Edwards lost control while shooting at police and their chopper. The girl managed to escape to safety and police returned fire and killed him. Edwards had worked for 2 law enforcement departments in Virginia with no priors or marks against his name.
We don't even feel comfortable affiliating him with law enforcement because that's not what someone in law enforcement is about.
Shit, I don't know. Celia has sent me some interesting stories that had people that were either law enforcement or former law enforcement. I know it doesn't represent him as a whole, but you'd be surprised at some of the stories we hear that it was like a cop or somebody that used to be a cop.
He left a community torn apart, 3 family members dead, and a young girl who will likely never be the same.
This bastard come out here and did this to them unnecessarily. There's no reason for it, none. I just can't make sense of it. I'm gonna miss them so much. I'm really gonna miss their love and their compassion for people.
There is a GoFundMe set up in the Winnick family's name that you can contribute to if you feel so inclined. And the really other disturbing part of all of this, Andrew, is that Riverside police here think that there very well may be more teenage victims, either in Virginia, California, really anywhere across the country. And they are looking into that with a fine-tooth comb. They have this scene, they have the officer-involved shooting scene, and then, of course, the trail online. Reporting live in Riverside, I'm Haley Winslow. Back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, Haley, just a couple of questions. What do we know about maybe some of this suspect's
Brian, thank you. We began
back in Virginia? Has any of his friends spoken out? Do we know anything from that side of this? Are they reacting to this, no doubt?
I did ask police about that today, and they don't know of any family that's come forward yet. He worked for the state trooper. He was a trooper, and then he also worked for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. He was a deputy. Sorry, this neighbor's trying to come out right now. They've been going through a lot and are being very kind with the media in their cul-de-sac for the last few days. It's been really hard on this neighborhood, and thankfully we've met some amazing people here, but it's been, as you can imagine, so hard on this community. They have lived here for 22 years.
Wow.
And the next door neighbor grew up with the 15-year-old girl and grew up with her parents. And I mean, talk about just heartbreaking. Listening to her today and really getting to know her today, it's been really hard on them. But no family from the Edwards side of things has come forward yet. There is still so much unknown. I will say, though, Riverside police did say that they do believe that he would have done some bad things to the 15-year-old girl as well if she hadn't managed to escape.
Do we know where she is tonight? Is she staying with family?
She's in protective custody. I can't imagine what she's going through or how she'll ever recover from this. But she is in the color guard at the local high school here, Arlington High School, and her grandfather was a softball coach at that same high school. And it's going to be really hard on all the kids that go to school there. I'm sure they're reaching out.
All right, let's talk about this overdose thing. And I was just checking my notifications. Apparently, I don't have any notifications for like 5 hours or so. Yeah. I'm probably going to just, after this stream, I'm going to probably, when I have time tonight, edit a video. I might leave a notification open and maybe just post that video for tomorrow. I didn't realize it, that I have, it just tells me right there, already used up 3. So after this, I won't have another one. Let's take a look at this. And thank you again for sending me this story. This is kind of interesting and odd. This just happened like an hour ago. What the hell is going on in these schools with these kids? I might clip this for Facebook maybe. Ooh, cannabis overdose. So high school, 10 students in LA middle school are treated for suspected cannabis overdoses, with 7 taken to hospital. So these kids over here, and it's middle school. So these kids over there, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised. I guess they're at middle school, but they smoking out in class? And I guess it's Cali, but 10 students have been treated for possible cannabis overdoses during medical emergency at Van Nuys Middle School in Los Angeles. At least 7 students between the ages of 13 to 14 have been taken to the hospital as they suffered mild symptoms. The LAFD, which is a fire department, I guess, said the overdoses likely involved edible cannabis products. I don't mess with the edible stuff. Let me tell you. The only thing I have messed with is like the Delta 9 gummies, which is like I think Delta 9 is the less strong one, right? Delta 9 is like the loop that they did. Yeah, Delta 9 I think is the looped thing that now they actually sell it here in Florida. You can go to the store and get it. I actually like Delta 9, but just to go to sleep. I don't like it for anything else. I used to take it just to go to sleep at night. I even just took a half a gummy. I would sleep great. Didn't have any kind of hangover effects in the morning. And so it says there 10 students have been treated for possible cannabis doses during a middle school emergency at the Los Angeles Middle School on Tuesday. First responders received a call about a possible overdose at Van Nuys Middle School after 11:30 a.m. While the LA Fire Department did not confirm whether they were treating overdose victims, at least 7 of the students were taken to a hospital. Eric Scott, the Department's Public Information Officer, said the overdoses likely involved edible cannabis products. That thing with those cannabis stuff too, that shit, when it's edible, it lasts a long time. And I think it even converts to something else. Like it's even stronger. I was watching, what's this guy's name? Chubby Emu. One of the legends of YouTube that I watch sometimes. I like to watch different stuff sometimes on my time off. And this particular one was interesting, where he was talking about this girl that ate 96 marijuana gummies, and the whole situation with this one. And I don't even know if it was specifically 96 or he just did that for the title. Maybe it was. But the girl, she had parents that the father was into eating edible stuff. And so, but the mother didn't like that. And so what he would do, he snuck the edibles into the house, and he took the candy and he mixed regular candy with edibles so that there was a bag full of edible THC plus regular candies. He puts it in a bag and he's like, all right, I'm just going to sneak this and nobody's going to know. Problem is, their daughter, it's funny that the guy that they got looks like a pothead kind of, the actor that they got. And the thing too about this THC thing, it was like a homemade type of shit. His friend or whatever was like making this shit. And so anyway, the girl one day, she's home and she's watching YouTube videos or something like that. And she finds this bag of candy. And so she doesn't know that this is THC. The mother doesn't know that this is THC. she starts eating all this candy shit. And literally watching the video stuff, at the end, by the time you know it, she eats the whole damn bag of edibles. Okay. And she's like, I forgot her symptoms, but like her heart was beating really fast. She kind of was, at first she felt good, but then she felt like crap. She comes out of the room and she falls and like passes out. Mother calls the hospital. And what his explanation, because I think this guy's like an actual doctor or something. His explanation, he talks about the conversion of smoking it versus eating it, and that it actually transforms or gets into something else, and it's actually stronger once you go there. There it is, right there, from Delta 9 to 11, whatever, hydroxy, whatever, and so it's actually stronger, I believe. More potent. And so I didn't even know that. I always had the wherewithal that I knew that like there's something crazy about this edible shit. I'm not messing with it. These kids and these people, whatever, they want to have fun. You knock yourself out, have fun, but you're in for, I think, an even longer ride for this shit. So this poor girl, because of her dad, ate the whole bag of this shit. And when she went to the hospital, they didn't even know what was going on because the mother called 911, I think, and then they took her to the hospital. And I forgot the first symptoms that she had. They thought at first because she fell that it had something to do with the fall. So I think they did like a CT scan, but everything was fine. And so they finally did like a drug test, and that's when she peed out, THC. And so they didn't realize how much she had. So, but she survived though. She survived. She was fine after. Just another thing. See, this is the Delta 8 that I just spoke about. I actually like Delta 8. I haven't taken it in a really long time. Well, let me not. I do have like the other stuff too, THC, but I think Delta 8 is just a smoother thing just to go to bed. I don't really. I couldn't take this stuff and like function. There's no way. Like on a regular day and do videos and stuff. Nah. And also too, it's dangerous too. One pediatric case was coded with a medical outcome of death following the ingestion of suspected Delta 8. Like this is really dangerous stuff. And he gave kind of like a warning for parents because a lot of these Delta 8 or THC gummy things or whatever, it looks just like candy. And so these kids see that and they just think it is candy practically laced with THC. And so it's just really dangerous for parents to just have these little candy things lying around where these kids can just grab it and consume it. He gave some advice, either keeping it really high or locked up or something like that. So I don't know, this little story made me think of this, but there's probably a kid in that school dealing that shit. Back to the LA situation. There's probably a kid, somebody in there serving these kids up. It's either a kid themselves or maybe one of these teachers. They need to investigate that shit. Video of the hectic scene shows a large police and fire presence surrounding the middle school as the students were wheeled out and put into ambulances. 3 of the students were released at the scene, and a search for any other affected students turned up 0 results. Which, by the way, I'll put the link to that guy's video too. If you want to watch his video, he does really good, amazing content. I really like his content. And I think he's to the point now where he's hiring actors. He voice narrates it, and he pretty much hires actors, nice quality editing. He also does, you see how my ADD mind works? I just stopped the article again. I just lost it. I'll put him in this when I have a chance after this article. I'll put him in. But he has really funny memes too that he does. Legend on YouTube, in my opinion. The fire department confirmed that the suspected overdoses are not fentanyl related. That must have been scary, thinking it's fentanyl. Officials said that the doctors will ultimately determine what substance the hospitalized students had taken. According to the CDC, unlike smoking marijuana, ingesting too much cannabis-based edibles can lead to poisoning and serious injury. In a statement following the incident, the LA Unified School District said, "Today we were made aware of a group of students who had suffered a medical incident at Van Nuys." And maybe it wasn't somebody was selling this stuff. Maybe somebody just bought it for fun. It might not be somebody serving up the kids. Maybe the kids a group of friends were just like, hey, we're going to be high today in class and have fun. You know, maybe that's what it was. The other thing you got to think about, though, is how did all these people, they consumed an enormous amount of this product, or was this some homemade stuff that somebody dosed incorrectly? And so the stuff that they took had a really high amounts of, you know, THC or whatever. At a point of clarification, Narcan was not administered based on a preliminary evaluation. Los Angeles Unified will proactively contact emergency services in an abundance of caution to protect the health and safety of our communities. So that was that. I wonder if they have any video. This guy's really good. If you're ever looking for some short content and something different, this shit will teach you about life. Watching this guy's videos, it is really interesting to see what people are doing. You'd be like, what's wrong with these people? A man, oh man, and this one was crazy too. A man dry scooped 350,000 milligrams of caffeine. The whole thing with this guy, I dry scooped one time on my channel, and I think I almost died, honestly, dry scooping. Dry scooping is when you get pre-workout, and instead of mixing it with water or whatever else, you just take a dry scoop of this stuff and you like throw it in the back of your mouth, in the back of your throat. When I did that, I actually choked. And the only thing I had to drink was I had a container that had pre-workout that was actually mixed. So the only thing I can do at the time, I seriously freaked out. I thought I was kind of like dry heaving, like it was just stuck back there and caked up back there. It was stupid as shit. But this dry scooping thing is the thing that these people, when they work out, they do this stuff. So the only thing I could do was take the pre-workout mixed liquid and chug it down to wash down the dry, caked up. So, bro, I was tweaked out, but I was glad that this shit just went down. And so this guy, this person, they I guess they used to make their own product or something like that. They used to get the powdered version of this stuff. And so this guy would just order in bulk, and he would, I think what he did was he put it in his fridge or something like that. I forgot what the whole thing was. He mislabeled some shit, and he just took a bunch of caffeine. Some of them, I haven't watched this guy in a while, or maybe he just has his top videos. A toddler drank his mom's essential oils. A woman drank 35% of food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Dad ate 25 packs of silica gel for breakfast. I mean, it's just weird, crazy stuff. Oh, he actually talked about George Floyd. That's interesting stuff. So a good channel to check out. His community tab is pretty funny. Grilling some food for lunch, monster cans. Because people you'd be surprised the weird shit that people do. And so, like, that puts these people in the hospital. Never had McDonald's pancakes, but today this blueberry one hits the spot. So, and it's a joke because it looks like fungus or something. So you wouldn't be, somebody would probably eat that shit, see that and be like, oh yeah. Toilet trouble, then pooped for a month and looked pregnant with twins. I was in tears in the hospital. Weed is coming to U.S. gas stations next year. And he's like, I'll have so many videos to make next year. So, I don't know. Good guy to watch. I'll put his link in the description. If you're ever looking for something different, it's usually pretty interesting. And you'll probably learn something watching it. I put his channel there. Let me see what you guys are doing in the chat, and then we'll head out. I guess I'm just hanging out with you guys for a little bit since it was, well, now we're almost at 2 hours. Raven, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Craig, I'm gonna get you high today because you ain't got no job, you ain't got no ish to do. That's from is that from Friday, or what was that from? I think that's from Friday. Revenge, thank you for becoming a member. BL, thank you so much for the 12-month membership. If you haven't done so already, please hit thumbs up. Thanks. BL is like ride or die. One of my ride or dies. Been here for a long time. Really appreciate you. I'm sorry for the stuff that's going on over there in South Africa. I couldn't imagine, bro. Like they have this whole power issue going on over there. Listen, when I used to go to Dominican Republic back in the day, I couldn't stand going for more than a week because the power was always going out. It's not as bad now, but bro, I couldn't do it. Like with the power all the time, constantly going out. South Africa. Power crisis. The South African energy crisis, most notably manifesting in the form of successive rounds of load shedding, and is an ongoing period of widespread national level rolling blackouts as electricity supply fails behind electricity demand, threatening to destabilize the national power grid. Ooh. So they're doing these power outages, rolling blackouts in an attempt to save electricity while struggling to keep its aging and poorly maintained coal-fired power stations operational. Damn. Get better solar panels. Can you do that? Can BL? Can you get some solar panels out there? Off currently coming back in third. Oh damn. Oh, maybe you probably do have some solar panels, huh? That's the only way to get around that. It seems like. We're being warned about potential blackouts in the UK. Really? Yo, how about all that stuff that's going on? DR is cool too. It's cool. When I was a kid, I couldn't stand going for more than a week though. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to go for more than a week now either. I'd go to like the vacation spot and maybe visit family and get out. Be out. The stuff in China that's going on is pretty crazy too, huh? China protests. My thing is, so I don't know too much of what's going on. There's protests, and it's about the lockdowns. And the thing is, have they been on lockdown all this time, or did they redo it again because there's like a resurgence of the virus? And I still can't believe that this thing is still a thing. You know? Let's see. China protests. Take a look at a video. Oh, and by the way, yesterday too, that whole drama stuff with the Jared Lasik hearing, there was apparently a YouTuber that it looks like they got permission. So one person actually had permission, I guess, to stream that stuff, I guess. But like I said, hopefully in the future, maybe people will learn to not do that if you don't have permission. Let me see, China protests. And honestly, even if you support Jared and you're on that side of things and you know, whatever, you still shouldn't want for those type of, well, maybe you do want those things to happen. Maybe it could benefit him. I don't know. Robin, thank you so much for your super chat. I hope you're doing well. It says Mel, I keep touching the membership link and nothing happens. Love you. Are you on iPhone? I think iPhone or Apple people have issues. You might have to get on the desktop. And the reason I say that person I think had permission is because they posted on their community tab some documentation. It looks legit. I don't know. Not that I want anything to do with that person, but all right.
As largest cities are easing COVID restrictions while.
And the thing I was going to work on to edit too, for the people that have been following the Idaho stuff, the thing that was so weird to me, and I haven't listened to the video, I just saw the title, but like, I think Kaylee's father is now saying that she had a stalker. And I'm like, what? Sure. Hold up. Because that interview that they did on CNN, said that they didn't know about any kind of stalker. And the sister Olivia had said that that she didn't know about any kind of stalker either, and that Kaylee would have told her. And so now I think I got to listen to it He's saying there is. And there's Kaylee told him. I'm like, what? Huh? Okay. I'm so confused because all this back and forth with this story, it's just, I don't know. You know? And then I have to listen to it. There's a video. I'm going to put a video together for you guys. But then too, the whole thing of like, are they walking back that this attack was targeted too? I had heard something about that. I haven't sat down and looked into it, but I'm like, what is all this going back and forth? You know? And then the 911 call thing that Court TV posted, the reporter was nice to try to get some clarification, but the reporter had put out an extended clip talking to the guy asking about the unconscious person, and it's still confusing as shit. They're still like, I don't know. I don't know I get the cops can't talk, I guess, about certain things, but then just the way you're answering, it's just so confusing. It's so confusing. I don't know what they're saying, you know? Madison Mogan's dad speaks up. We can use that. So I honestly probably have enough for a stream, but I just don't have any notifications. So I think I'm gonna edit a video nice and post it tomorrow, and I want to leave one notification for tonight in case we get a chase or something. But there's a couple of clips I can do, I think.
While police are also watching for any new protests, you saw them over the weekend, thousands of people blasting the government's COVID policies in China's largest public demonstrations in decades. Now, the government may be trying to diffuse public anger and prevent a larger outbreak of protests. Holly Williams lived and worked in China for more than a decade, and she shows us now how the newest protests bring back memories of a much more turbulent time 33 years ago.
33 years ago. Shit, I was going to say last year. 30 something years ago. Shit was last year. It was a crazy. You know what? We were doing live streams about China. These people were being thrown in their houses. Weren't they like sawing the doors or like, what's the word? The proper word for it? Soldering? They were literally bolting the doors shut. These people couldn't leave. Didn't they have like all these drones and shit going around? It was crazy over there.
Down with the Communist Party, they shouted on the streets of Shanghai, an eruption of anger against a one-party state in power for over 70 years.
Takes courage to go out to the street to protest.
Zhang
I don't blame him, man. With this situation, and like it's, you know, however you feel is how you feel. But like years and years later, man, we don't got time. Like people have to get the mental effects that it's having on people. You know, people have to work. People got the kids are affected by this shit. I mean, take the shot, don't take whatever you want to do, but things have to get back. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't keep these people locked up. You know, people are already crazy. People maybe still crazier now because of all the stuff that's happened over the last 2 years.
is a Chinese journalist based in London.
To be a part of it. I mean, wasn't there abuse on the rise and not being reported to because these kids weren't going to school and there was no teachers reporting? And so these parents don't want to be around their kids. Most people don't even want to be around their kids. And so now they're stuck with them. You know what I'm saying? And so these people are beating and doing all kinds of shit to the kids because of the lockdown stuff. Not that, I guess taking out the lockdown is going to really save them. Maybe they'll be abused over a slower period of time. I don't know, but.
She says the last time China saw anything like this was in 1989.
Damn.
When university students led demonstrations in Beijing's Tiananmen Square.
This is the first time since 1989 we've seen protesters explicitly calling for the downfall of the Communist Party.
Is this the whole thing where the tank is the famous tank thing, or am I not thinking of that?
First time.
So this is huge.
This is huge, yeah.
Zhang led a pro-democracy protest herself.
This is the infamous tank situation where the guy stands in front of the tanks, right? Tiananmen Square Tank Man. What happened to the Tank Man? Tank Man. I remember that. "30 years later, his memory lives on ABC." lives on. Little is known about the man who blocked the path of a column of tanks in Tiananmen Square in Beijing on June 5th, 1989. Over the years, he has come to be known as Tank Man, the unknown rebel, or the unknown protester. Maybe it was a psyop. Maybe this isn't real. Maybe this was all planned. Maybe he was paid. No, I'm just kidding. Some reports have identified the man as a student in Wang Weilin, but his true identity has not been confirmed. The South Korean news agency Yonhap reported in 2006 that Wang was an alias and that the man had escaped the massacre of Tiananmen Square and made his way to Taiwan via Hong Kong. We do know about him. What we do know about him are his actions captured that day in stunning footage. The video shows the man blocking more than a dozen tanks that were rolling down Chang'an Avenue the day after hundreds of student protesters were gunned down by Chinese military. Damn. The lead tank moves back and forth trying to go around the man, but the man kept blocking its path. The man then climbs up on the lead tank and appears to talk to one of the soldiers inside the tank. The man eventually is led away by his arms by two men. It remains unclear if those men were police or security forces or just bystanders who were concerned for the man. Okay, well.
1989 in the southern city of Nanjing and says she was interrogated by the police.
And how dangerous is it to hold a protest like that in China, calling for the downfall of the Communist Party?
Very likely those leaders who lead it chants will end up in prison or maybe even worse.
The Tiananmen protests ended with a ruthless crackdown. A bloody massacre carried out by China's military. But Zhang says the upheaval in 1989 forced China's leaders to give their people more personal and economic freedom. It's been a recipe for success until recently, with heavy-handed COVID restrictions forcing entire neighborhoods into quarantine.
Look at this shit. They're gated in. Is that what it is? Or they're going somewhere that has gates?
Chinese people have a reputation being gentle or even docile, but the people are not stupid.
In 1989, did you learn something about the ruthlessness of the Communist Party?
Certainly, yes. Until the last minute, we did not believe that the government would really open fire to its own people. And the lesson is they would do anything to preserve their power.
Damn. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. China official temporarily speechless after questions on protests. What do you got to say?
Given the widespread display of anger and frustration at the zero COVID policy in recent days across China, is China thinking about ending it, and if so, when?
Yeah, what'd they do? They flipped the switch on him or something? Was the bot computing or something? What's going on with him? Malfunction. Damn. Was he scrambling for notes? This is not in the programming or something? Can you repeat the question?
Repeat the question,
please? Bruh.
A question from Reuters. Given the widespread display of frustration with the zero COVID policy,
Matrix glitch.
is China considering ending it soon, and if so, when?
He's thinking of a lie? Bruh. Bro, like as if it doesn't exist. Like it just doesn't happen. Wow. What you mentioned does not reflect. He probably has to be really careful. Who knows what they probably make him disappear if he answers the wrong thing or says them in a way that's not going to be appease his leadership.
情况与事实不符，中方一贯根据动态清零的总方针。
He's like, China is doing a good job. We're following, like literally, like, you could almost like see the gulp in his like throat or something like.
根据现实的情况，一直在进行有关的调整。
Damn, bro. Oof. Jeez. China eases COVID curbs after protests. Damn, bro, that's crazy. China protests Shanghai residents clash with COVID workers. Wow, bro, that's crazy. All right, well, I guess we'll be out. I've enjoyed kind of talking with you guys at the end here. Jenny says it means a lot to me too, hanging out with you guys sometimes. It really kind of brightens my day, even though I know the topic is horrible, but at the end, hanging out, talking. Let's see. Jenny said, let's see, I just lost it. Jenny's gone. Something about the 911 stuff. Did I see the 911 call somewhere? Yeah, that shit's gone. What happened to Jenny? Jenny's gone. Eunice says China has been wiring the door shut to people in welding. That's what I meant to say. Welding the door shut to their homes so they can't get out of COVID restrictions. That shit was. I remember that. I remember when they were doing that, and I was finding videos on Reddit, and it's like they didn't really want you to show those videos. I was streaming some of it, but a lot of the times those videos were getting like restricted and all kinds of stuff. Melly brings. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. All right, I guess I'll call it then. I'm gonna get the baby settled, chill for a little bit, and they got them on. Oh, it's on TikTok too. Surprised TikTok isn't taking it down. That's their. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Hope you stay safe. Hit like on the way out if you haven't. We'll be following the Michael story. I'm glad we can, share a little bit of the story, his name, especially maybe with the new audience, for people that haven't heard of the story. And and check out the link too if you want to in the description for the family. All right. So take care. Maybe I'll see you guys later. If not, tomorrow. All right. Peace. Bye. Bloop, bloop. We definitely need a chase, man. Bloop, bloop.